Our local trade will be hoping to secure firmer gains to the end of the week. There's little change on the JSE since close of trading yesterday, with global markets firmer as investors looked for clues in Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's comments. Well, Viv Govender is the portfolio manager at Rand Swiss. He joins us now for some analysis on these market moves. Viv, it's great to see you as always. Thanks for coming on. What is driving local and global markets overall this Friday?
As you mentioned, Jerome Powell's speech this week was very important, but also we're expecting U.S. job numbers to come out this afternoon, and that is also quite important as well. I think the hope is, especially from a market point of view, is likely weaker job numbers, which would indicate that it's easier for the Fed to cut interest rates. Jerome Powell in his speech basically said cutting this year, but not really soon. But of course depending on data, which is pretty much what he's been saying all the time. But we need to see some kind of impetus in terms of economic news or rapidly falling inflation to kind of accelerate the rate cut schedule.
Yeah, shall we take a look at company news, Viv? The Outsurance Group has issued a trading statement, a trading update. What do they have to tell the market?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's the usual kind of thing we're getting from Outsurance with regards to the fact that we are seeing, a tougher environment out there. They are seeing earnings growth, which was driven by the sale of some assets, which is now obviously not a sustainable long-term solution. They report headline earnings per share to be 86.8 to 96 cents per share for 6 months compared to 92.3. So, just around that same kind of level that we saw last year. I do think in terms of what's been happening with regards to the underlying financial sectors in Africa, we're seeing a lot of consolidation coming through. We're seeing a lot of companies come together. Outsurance has done really well over the last couple of years, and I think that is one thing that must not be ignored. But still, the underlying economy is very weak, and that makes these businesses very tough.
Yeah. Well, Patrice Motsepe's African Rainbow Minerals has taken a knock of 43% fall in half-year profits. What's behind that performance?
It's basically the same things that everyone else is experiencing as well. It's declining commodity prices. China's been weak. We've seen numbers out of China that have been disappointing over the last couple of years, especially since the COVID lockdowns. They have not rebounded like the rest of the world has. And we've seen all the commodity producers under the same kind of pressure, because of the stuff that's been happening there. And there's also individual pressures in South Africa, with regards to what's happening in the Transnet with the infrastructures in Africa. But even beyond that, the underlying resource sector as a whole globally is weak, and probably driven by what's happening in China.
Yeah. On the other hand, packaging and recycling group Impact has reported a good performance in their financial results. 2 billion rand in cash generated from operations.
Yeah, like we said, the HEPS was up 3%. Up to 443 cents. The profit from continuing operations declined to 601 million from 733 million, a while back, a year ago, sorry. And they basically have had what they call a prudent strategy. And it kind of makes sense, when things are tough, you especially, like I said, you look at any economy or any business that plays off the economy, and packaging does. People buy stuff when they have money, and when they buy stuff, they need packaging. If they're not buying stuff, packaging is not going to be there. And so whenever the economy is tough, you need to basically be, cost-cutting as opposed to trying to look at revenue growth.
Yeah. The Daily Investor is reporting that Takealot, talking about, companies that have performed very, very well over the past few years, but they're contemplating selling Superbalist. What do we know about that? And would the online fashion retailer, do you reckon, make an attractive investment?
Look, I mean, fashion is very, very, fickle as a business. They're talking about, the entering of, we had a discussion actually just a few hours ago, was it Shine or Shine? I think it's pronounced Shine. And Temu coming through. And Temu, I mean, you saw the ad in the Super Bowl. What's their thing? Shop like a billionaire is their particular, motto. Yeah. Look, I mean, the market's getting more difficult. These Chinese companies are going to be pumping stuff into the system that's going to be very difficult to compete against. And to a certain extent, it kind of makes sense that, you want to exit a business that might be coming under pressure.
Yeah.
That being said, if you can develop loyalty among your customers here, you get a lot of, repeat business. Fashion is one of the surprisingly large industries in the world. And it is, I think it's maybe short-sighted to basically get out of, the business just because of the competition coming in from China.
Yeah. You talk about Shane. I don't know if there's an agreement on how we pronounce it, but I wonder just how much of, how well that platform is obviously doing, has made Takealot take this decision, and given the competition from a platform like that, again, would anyone be interested in taking over Superbalist?
I think there's opportunity here. I do think so. I do think that South Africans love clothes. If you've ever met South African, you know that they like clothes, and the fashion is a big thing in South Africa. And I do think that properly done, it could be very lucrative, especially if you basically develop that customer loyalty. People are used to buying from you. They're used to basically coming to you and they trust your service, and so that's becoming really profitable. But, competition is very difficult to compete against people that may not be wanting to make a profit in the short term.
Yeah. You're not looking at investing in Superbalist, are you, Viv?
I have no sense of style, as you can see.
Viv Govender, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. Viv is a portfolio manager at Rand Swiss.